Morning all. How are we all doing? Happy Monday. How is everybody? Everybody have good fireworks night? Well, good fireworks. 15 minutes stood out in the cold, looking up in the sky. It's lovely. Best you can experience in where I live. Morning, Edward. Morning, Christian. Morning, Ian, Peter, Amy, Europe. How are you doing? Morning, Virginia, Andrew, Greg. Gregor's Hood Guy, Saril, Yotko, morning, Day Trader FX. So, just to confuse everybody further, the times have changed again. So, this morning, you need to go back into your EAs and you need to go into them all and you need to change all the times back to what they were before because the US have now changed their clocks. So, we're now back to 2:30 for the New York Open, not 1:30 as we were last week. So, the week of confusion is over. Now the next week of confusion starts where everybody goes, why is my EA suddenly trying to trade the pre-market? So don't forget to do that today. Let's have a quick look at the news. So there you go. Daylight savings time shift, US and Canada. Change your EAs. You heard it here first. Morning, James. Morning, Magnus. So news this week, it's quite light, as you can see. The calendar fits on half a page today. So there's not a lot going on this week. Well, I say not a lot of quantity, but today we've got Ueda speaking. We'll have a look at that in a minute this morning. We've got no news today, really. Construction PMIs this morning, and then IV PMIs this afternoon for CAD. So not a lot of news at all today. So very flat day. Tomorrow's the main one. Aussies. They are putting their rates up. So we will see what happens with that. It could be positive, could be negative. It depends. We get an awful lot of different reactions to interest rates at the moment. Sometimes, like the euro put their interest rates up and it collapsed. So it's very difficult to tell what's going to happen at the minute. But interest rates are going up. That should be positive euro, positive New Zealand. So anything you've got long on those two, you should get a boost out of tomorrow morning. But we'll see. Other than that, no other news tomorrow. Wednesday, we've got inflation forecasts. Really that impactive, can do sometimes. We got Bailey speaking and we got Powell speaking, so no news again. So just talking heads. And then Thursday's the only real news this week with the unemployment claims. We know the unemployment rate because that came out on Friday. So the unemployment rate claims probably won't be much different to that, which was a negative. So I would expect those to go up and be negative US. We got Lagarde speaking and Powell speaking again. So a lot of talking heads this week. And then we've got GDP for the pound and University of Michigan on Friday. So it's a really bad news week this week. Not an awful lot that's going to really pump the market hard. So we will basically just get normal movement, normal pushes, normal profit take moves potentially this week. Looking at overnight news, we've got 4 minutes to the open. German industrial orders this morning. This is Ueda speaking this morning. Wasn't a huge amount. I did have a quick scan through. Let me just look through it properly, but it wasn't an awful lot in here that I saw of any interest. So we will continue with large scale bond buying, basically continuing to keep their money overseas at the moment. So yeah, nothing really exciting there. The main thing we're possibly expecting today is for the main ground offensive to start in Gaza. So I don't think that's really going to have much impact on the FX markets, but we'll see. It depends who gets involved from here, doesn't it, really? But so yeah, apart from that, no news. So there you go. So there's your news for this week. It's a very light week. So just normal FX movements. The DAX today is going long. I'm hedged on the Euro New Zealand because we've had an extension on it. So, yeah, bit weird. I was just looking at that this morning thinking, what the hell am I going to do with that? DAX this morning, no gaps. So yeah, just normal start today. Upside potential would be yesterday's high. So Friday wasn't particularly busy on the DAX. So Friday's high, which is last week's high, is there, which is very, very close. And then we got Friday's low, which is there, which is very close. So other than that, there's this massive gap. And obviously, last week we did nothing last week but rally. So on Monday, we had a tiny bull day. Tuesday bull day, Wednesday bull day, Thursday bull day, Friday we sat sideways. So you can see that's last week's range, big range compared to the previous week. Yeah. So could go anywhere this week. Obviously, we're in a downtrend. We're in a bear market. So this is spot on market structure for a continuation short. So we'll see where we go. But yeah, there we go. That's the DAX. 2 minutes to go. Look at that. Yeah, so upside today, obviously, whoops. You're looking at there or a run to the upside. And downside, obviously, for Friday's low, which is here, which is so the initial potential support resistance zones today are very, very close. So watch those initial break targets. Might get a bit of a rotation today, but we'll see. There's no reason for the market to move today. There's no news. So there we go. Morning. Who haven't I said morning to? Ismet. Morning. Right. There you go. That was a quick wrap up, wasn't it? Done. Bye. FX wise, no ADRs, no weeklies, obviously, because it's Monday. So your RSIs, we've got loads to look at. So we'll look at all the RSIs. Not really any new movement on Friday afternoon. Sorry, there was movement on Friday afternoon for the yen, but no movement too much today. So we're pushing up again today. I got out the US dollar yen on Friday, decided to scrap it. So had enough of it. They're not doing the intervention. So I've just given up with them, basically. Okay, markets open. DAX pre-markets. Where are we over here? 152. So pre-market range is too small today. So not taking the pre-markets today. So we'll take the 5-minute opening range. But if you did take the pre-market 15 with the opening range breakout EA, you are long, but very, very tight range. Less than 10% of the average. So not getting involved with that one this morning. Morning, Mark. Morning, XRUpdate.news. Morning, Kenley. So there's no real reason for any potential huge moves this morning. We've also got light earnings now. So earnings fortnight is over. So that was the last week, basically, of large earnings. We have got earnings this week. There's a few. But as you can see, you know, that's the period from 23rd until last Friday, which is the main earnings that comes in. We've got Activision today. We've got Gilead tomorrow and Uber, Roblox. There's a few big-ish names. I say they're all big names, but there's a few fairly big ones in there. So, but there's nothing specific that I would expect us to have, you know, huge moves today specifically. So that's pretty much the end of earnings now until next year. So DAX long working well. If you did take the pre-market, depending on where you put your entry. Oh, God, I hate snapping fibs. There we go. You're on your way to 1.5 hour. 2 hours in that propulsion gap, which we've already tested. 4R is upside today on that pre-market range, but as I say, that pre-market was too small, so I didn't take it. So didn't even get 1.5R really out the high. So we'll see where we go. Oh, big sell order just come in there. Morning, Evans. Morning, Leshy. So Friday, just forgot to recap Friday. I didn't trade Friday afternoon because I felt ill on Friday afternoon, so I took Friday afternoon off. Friday morning on the DAX, didn't really get anywhere. So as you can see on Friday, we had a bit of a whippy open. It pushed down ever so slightly and then came up again. And, you know, it's a rotation day basically on Friday. So you would have got hedged on it. I got out on Friday and just took a tiny loss because we just didn't go anywhere at the open. We literally sat there for half an hour at the open. If you remember, there was literally no volume. We were getting gaps because there was so little volume. So gave up on Friday. So no profit Friday. Ruined my green streak, look. Red day. Didn't get a red day over here, though, because I traded the New York Open while I was asleep. Or rather, the EA traded the New York Open for me while I was asleep on Friday afternoon. And banked 3.25%, which is very nice. So I've got a green day there, which is good. 34% increase on that account so far this month. Well, since I started it. Right, 30 seconds to go. So decent 5-minute opening range. So going to take the 5-minute opening range break today. I suspect short by the looks of this. It's probably going to trigger short straight away because we're very low. Look at the spread on that. Whoa. Okay, I've got massive spreads on everything for some reason. We got news. We haven't got any news, have we? Why have I got such big spreads? Has everybody else got those? Okay. Well, it's calmed down now a little bit. Very big spreads just came in there for some reason. Not quite sure why. Morning X time, morning outro. No volume today, not a lot. So yeah, looks like we're going to trigger short. So downside on the DAX today, 2R is within the previous monthly lows, short on the DAX. Yesterday's low is there, which is kind of 1 3/4. So I'm just going to move TP1 up inside yesterday's low because we're likely to buy this level up. So if we do break short, I'll get out of the first entry there. If we break down today, there's obviously, as you can see, that's yesterday's low. We've got that little area here from Thursday. Other than that, you're looking at coming all the way back down to that little gap fill from Wednesday last week. So there's absolutely clean air basically below those lows there. So if we get beyond 2R to the downside today and break that level, there's nothing to stop us until we get down to ADR and beyond today. So it's an ADR hit to the downside, would be downside target if we do break short those. And the market is very much due a profit take, as you can see. So we broke out of this range last week. So that was Monday here, wasn't it? So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, it's not. Sorry, that's Monday. So Monday, we had a kind of rotation day, all day Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then into rotation on Friday. So we were watching these highs here and these highs here pullbacks if we're going to continue long. If we're going to pull back, obviously. But so far today, very, very slow. Robert, welcome to Robo Forex. I've been Robo Forex for probably longer than you've been alive. Have you had the flu jab? No. I'm not that old. God. How dare you? You don't get the flu jab in the UK until you're 50. 50? You're 50? I don't know. No, I haven't. Robo Forex don't normally give you, if you're talking about spreads, Robert, that's the first day, probably in the last year, I've seen a spread like that. Something happened there. All the indices, every index on Robo Forex on all account types went boom for some reason. So don't know what that was, but not seen that before. It's all back to normal tight, super tight spreads again now. So I don't know what that was, but that was just before the 5-minute initial cash balance went in, which is why I kind of flicked over. It's like, that's normally what happens when you get news. You get a widespread in the news. So I've used Robo Forex for 4 years and I'm 44. I'm not 44. That was Robert talking, by the way. I was just saying what he said. We've got no volume today. So we'll see where we go. We're not going anywhere at the minute, so we'll come back and have a look at this later. Right, so ADRs today, there aren't any. Very quiet, nothing going on. So dead, basically. There's no monthly hits. So last week was obviously first week of the month. We started the week off, the month off last week. So there's nothing to look at from extended conditions from the markets at the moment. Wouldn't expect a lot actually today. When we have light news weeks like this, you tend to get an awful lot of just normal price action within ADR because the market's got no news events to really drive it in any direction for any reason. So we have got news coming up and we might find we get some decent volumes coming in, but I would expect just normal push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, basically. So basically, there's nothing to look at there. We've got quite a lot of RSI extensions, so I'll whiz through all the RSI extensions. We'll have a look at these. A lot of these have been extended for a while now, so it's just a lot of the stuff that I'm in and have been in, for a bit. We'll kick off with oil, though. So oil basically came back down again on Friday. So this low is what we were looking at for a potential bounce. Excuse me. And we did. We managed to push straight up into that resistance and bounce out of it. We tried again, bounced out of it, tried again, bounced out of it, bouncing out of it. So we've moved our 1 week range down there. This is holding though. So we are buying this area up at the minute. On Friday, I got out of these two positions that I had to try and take advantage of getting out of this bounce. We can't really go anywhere. So my average is sitting at 175 ADR. I was toying with the idea of adding another one onto this morning, and I decided not to because if we get a break above that high, we should get a retest of this area at least. So what I'm going to do is just wait and see what reaction we get at that high, because I will have a position in profit when we get to there. But what's concerning me is that we're not making any progress. I'm expecting this to rally up to $100 a barrel. So that low high is what we were expecting to rally. And what we got was basically a new sort of range form. So we're not going anywhere. So I want to see this start to make a move before I have a bit more faith that we're going to break that level and jump up to that 100 whatever a barrel. You know, they're talking about 160 a barrel. I think that's more likely if the war was to kick off properly, i.e. US get involved, lots of other Middle Eastern countries get involved, etc. So at the minute, $100 a barrel I think is on the cards, but I want to see some confirmation that we've actually got some legs in us, we've got some buyers in us, because at the moment we're just stuck. So that's oil sitting there waiting on that one at the minute. Everything else, got pound odd, I might take that off. I'll leave it for the minute. But everything else is just kind of flip-flopping around at the moment. Got quite a bit of profit I can take off, but I'm just going to leave everything for this morning just to see where we start to go, see what sort of direction we take. With your hedge on Euro New Zealand, I thought the EA didn't take trades in the other direction. No, the EA will take trades based on the rules. So yeah, if rules are met, rules are met. Yeah, so with this Euro New Zealand, I mean, what normally would happen is you would normally have a situation where you would be out of a trade. So so with this Euro New Zealand, yeah, so to first entry there, scaled in, short, yeah. What would normally happen is by the time you're down here and you get an RSI extension to the downside, you'll be out of your shorts, won't you? I scaled out of this one basically because we got stuck at sideways and we managed to get an RSI extension. But if you think about it, yeah, if something's pushing that way and you enter short and it continues to push and you enter short and enter short, yeah, by the time that RSI gets extended to the downside, you should be out your shorts. So if it gets to the downside and then triggers along and you haven't exited your shorts, that's your problem. You should be out, shouldn't you? I mean, it's virtually impossible to get into a trade there, right? And not either have a break even or an exit there because you're going to scale into the position. That's an exit. You should be out. By the time you get an RSI extension in the opposite direction to what you've taken, your trade should be finished. Unless you intervene manually like I have here and take this off. If I hadn't have taken those off, that would be a completed trade, wouldn't it? Average would have been about there. That would have been a trade complete. But I didn't because I got out manually. We are getting some buys coming in on the indices. They just bought up US indices. So we've got Friday's high and that little high on the Dow, which might act as a little bit of Globex resistance. Quite a big way to go on the other two, though. So there is upside on the US indices, but not going anywhere today, are we? It's going to be a slow session, I think. So yeah, Euro New Zealand. Yeah, I've got a long and a short on it now. Just let them play out, basically. If it drops, I mean, this is the beauty of position trading. It doesn't matter what this does it? If this drops now, I'll just get out of these shorts down here and I'll add another long down here and wait for it to push up. So I'll get out the shorts when we get down here and I'll get out the longs when we push back up. If it goes long, I've got that long on. I'll add another short and wait for that pullback and then I'll get out the shorts. Doesn't matter, does it? But when you're using H1M5 mean reversion, it's rare that you will get that situation happen without exiting a trade. The only time it tends to happen is where you get a big, strong push and then you go sideways for multiple days at a time. And then you get a fast move back down the other direction. So very much what's happened on this instrument here, except I took these off manually. If I hadn't have manually taken profit on those two, as I said, that would have been a completed cycle. So but I did. Breaking short on the DAX. Trying to anyway. So watch that low. Can't see that, can you? Might find a little bit of buying comes in there as well. Got to break short yet. Right, RSIs. So Aussie dollar Swiss starting at the top. Aussie dollar Swiss is extended on the 4 hour. Obviously already short on this one myself. Just going to move my TPs on this. Another trade taken this morning on this one. So we've just had a 5-minute reverse alert this morning. Oops, there, as you can see. So another entry taken this morning, which is playing out nicely. It's extended on the 4 hour. We've got extended on this one mid last week on the 4 hour. And now we got extended again this morning. So it's still pushing. This is the area that I'm sort of watching, 175. We haven't had profit take on this, 175 ADR to the upside. We haven't had a profit take on this entire move yet. All we had in the middle of this 2-week move was a little flag break in the middle. That's it. So there's literally no profit take move done. So there's a good chance of a good 50% retracement, probably back into that area where that flag was. However, obviously, there's a chance that it might get caught up in this little area of balance here because we broke straight through that on Friday with the news. So there's a possibility we might do something along those sorts of lines as well. So with this one, I'm just going to move my TPs up. I need to place a TP on that one into that area there. So it's not going to be a massive profit on this, but it's just an exit. So a little bit of a cautious exit. Main reason being, obviously, we've got the Australian dollar news coming out this week. So I've got quite a lot of exposure on the Aussie. Or tomorrow morning, we've got the Aussie rate coming out. If that comes out as that 4.35, obviously that is bullish for the Australian dollar, and that will help the New Zealand dollar along the way as well. But we've seen many times a positive interest rate rise not having a positive impact on the currency because everything is hitting terminal rate. So they're expecting this to probably be the last increase, which means that the next direction for all currencies is weak. So we'll see what happens. It's very difficult to tell what's going to happen tomorrow morning, but it would be nice. I mean, the chance of getting a 175 ADR move ahead of a news event on a day with no news, not really going to happen, is it? So it's going to take something pretty catastrophic, like an invasion, for everybody to pile into the Swiss franc and drive the Swiss franc 175 ADR. That is a possibility. We could get that happening. Yeah, so unlikely we're going to get down there today. So I'm going to be reliant on the Australian dollar movement to get out of this one. But that's nicely extended on the 4 hour. You had obviously your hourly, you've had multiple hourly RSI extensions. It's embedded above the 50 level. And it has been, for a good week now. So big, strong move on that. That's obviously already piling back out the Swiss franc as well as helped that along the way because we had that run into the safe haven with the Swiss franc and then they've pulled it back out again because the invasion took too long to kick in. Aussie dollar yen pushing up nicely, so that's extended on the 4 hour as well. So that is extended above the 80 level. Any extensions above the 80 level on RSI, very rare. You do not get a nice big profit take move straight out of those. So should be getting a nice push down on this one. I have got the EA turned off on all yen pairs, basically because of what's going on with the US dollar yen and the potential for an intervention move on this. So I'm staying out of the yen at the minute, basically, just because the only thing I want to do is short it, and there are short setups happening, but I'm just concerned that they're not doing much about this. Every intervention that we've had, or whichever way you feel about it, why suddenly we get these big moves on the yen, has failed. We will, I suspect, get one and it will probably be a big one, but it's going to take a push above that level. So the fact that we keep kind of tapping, intervening, going nowhere for weeks on end just means, from my particular perspective, you're just going to get eaten by swaps. So this one that I got out of on Friday, I got out of it with a loss because I just wanted out because the swaps were too expensive. You look at the trades, these US dollar yens, look. The swap fees, I'm paying $350 in swap, $300 in swap. It's just costing too much to hold the positions because we're not getting the movement. There's no market structure here, is there? Yeah. So we've got a nice expansion in volume and volatility, but we still haven't had any big moves. So I'm just going to stay out of the yen at the moment until we get some kind of indication of exactly what is going to happen. Either push or pull, one or the other. If you're just going to sit sideways and I'm going to be stuck in it for 3 weeks, all it's going to do is cost me money. So I'm just staying out of them for the minute. But that's a nice extension on the 4 hour. Very nice opportunity for a short. At least back down into previous resistance, which will obviously turn into support if we're going to continue with an up leg. But we'll see. Aussie dollar, US dollar extended to the upside as well. Obviously, Aussie's been going mental. 4 hour RSI extension again. Anything that gets extended on the 80, on the 4, typically, it hasn't been one for ages, but you find you get some nice quick profit take move. So I'm short on this one at the moment, just waiting for some move. Again, Aussie dollar, I'm fully short on the Aussie. So hopefully we have a negative reaction to the news tomorrow morning. But that's also extended on the hourly, nicely embedded on the hourly. Again, good. It's not great divergence, this. It's ever so slightly positive, but very, very positive price movement. So you can see there's definitely a sort of bearish stance on it. TPs on this one, I'm going to adjust them now. I mean, that's the safest target. I'm just going to put them there for the moment, just because I've got quite a lot of exposure on the Aussie. There's only 2 positions on this one at the moment. That propulsion gap. So these highs here to the downside, potential support area. Obviously, this propulsion gap. We got this obviously one from Friday, which was caused by the US dollar move. But yeah, looking for a push back down into there and bounce back out again. DAX is still not going anywhere. Stuck. So that's Aussie US. That's nicely extended on the 4 hour. We've also got Euro Yen extended. I'll whiz through the yens because a lot of these yens, you can see there's a lot of yen extensions at the moment. I really don't know what's going on with the yen. Neither does anybody else. It's not going anywhere. It's sideways. So their stance basically is still to keep their money overseas, and when they need to liquidate that money to drive the yen up, but they're not doing it. Or what they are doing is having no impact. We keep getting these little spikes, but we're not getting any follow through, no positive movement. So I think there's just too much going on in the world at the moment for the market to actually warrant starting or continuing a move. They've got no reason to hold the yen. If they decide to increase their interest rates above -0.1, then obviously we will start buying the yen. They keep alluding to the fact that they might do it and then don't do it. So the minute yen's kind of just stuck in a weak stance until it gets above that 152 level on the US dollar yen, then we should get some more movement coming through on it. But anything that's extended on this, they're all good short opportunities, but I wouldn't look to hold long on any of them. Just try and get out as fast as you can if you get into them. So that's extended on the 4 hour. Whiz for all the yens. Pound yen extended on the 4 hour. Yeah, we've got a nice monthly coming up. Not great monthly, but it's not bad area. That's within ADR today. And then we've got that kind of all-time high-ish level at 125. So if this continues to rally today, good chance of getting some sellers coming in. All you're looking for is some 50% pullbacks on the moves, basically. Just don't get too greedy with them. Don't expect them to come down. They're not happening at the moment. So these are all kind of short-term, sort of intraday type plays, really. New Zealand dollar extended on the 4 hour above the 80 level. Again, that whole move there. We're looking for some kind of profit take on that. Nice resistance coming up. Could do that. May just do that. Just don't be too eager to stay in them for long. And US dollar yen, we had the move come down on the US dollar on non-farm on Friday. Obviously, non-farm didn't cover that, did I, this morning? But because I wasn't here on Friday afternoon, completely forgot. But yeah, negative across the board. The unemployment rate has gone up in the US. So that unemployment rate is the key driver. That's going up, which means interest rates are really not going up anymore. So this is all bearish US. So this could be the start of that prolonged run in US dollar bearishness. We need to see the stock markets rallying though first, and that's not happening either. So market's just kind of frozen at the minute. We're not really sure what to do. We've got too much uncertainty going on with conflict at the moment. There's just too much going on. Nobody's got any real urge to go fully bullish, bearish on anything at the minute. So we have bounced out of that 151.5 to 152 level. Any sustained move on the US to try and get above that level again this week, we're going to get an intervention move tried, if you like, but we'll see. So yeah, again, all extended apart from the US dollar yen. That's obviously not extended. It was extended last week, but all the yens being pushed against hard at the moment. So they're all good short opportunities. DAX have just broken out into new lows. Just very, very slow this morning. I'm just toying with the idea of taking 1 and a bit R today. Just watch that level there. We're getting a lot of algorithmic movement. So with this movement you get that's kind of like that, just bots basically transacting. There's no speculative players in here today at all. So at the moment, anyway, the danger with this type of price action, a la that we saw on Friday, is you suddenly get a speculative move come in, which shakes the market up, and you get a big move in one direction or the other, which on Friday would have got you hedged, and then you get stuck in a rotation. There's obviously no volume. There's no need for the market to move this in any direction today. So on days like this, when it's very low volume, just taking some money is usually the best course of action at the nearest support resistance, which is there. Obviously, that is the daily, but money's money at the end of the day. And I'd rather be out with half the position and stopped out on the second half and bank something than go, oh, I'm going to wait to the daily and just end up being somewhere like that in about 2 hours' time, which is quite possible. So every single candlestick we've had so far has been bearish. Yeah. So there's your initial open. We broke to the downside. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. But we haven't actually gone anywhere. So there is bearish structure. If you look at that on a 1 minute chart, that will be a wedge pattern. But we're not actually making any progress. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Morning, Thabiso. Morning, Mark. Right. So there's your yens. Covered all the yens. That's Euro yen done. Euro New Zealand is extended on the 4 hour now to the downside. Just got a long position on this one. I haven't managed to get out of all my shorts. I was on the verge of shutting the whole thing out this morning. I've got 0.2 in drawdown on it. The trade is, for me, kind of over the short. I should have kept those 2 positions on. I didn't. I just wanted to bank on this because we had so much news coming up last week. I just wanted to get out. So So my target to the downside for the shorts at the moment is kind of hit. It was a 50% retracement on that move. If we are going to continue, there's a chance that we're going to go, obviously, for a new leg up. This is where we're going to do it from, which means I'm going to have to scale into those shorts, and obviously the long I will get out of at some point on the way up. But very hard to tell what we're doing at the moment on this. Everything is kind of very rangy, obviously, at the minute. So I'm just going to leave it for today, I think, and see where we go. What I might do with it, because we've broken out of this range, basically, and we've tapped basically into this area here. What I might do is, if we push up and get sort of up to ADR and start approaching this low, what I might actually do is just break even that long and then assume that this range break is going to continue to the downside. There's no advantage at all for the euro or New Zealand at the moment. Nothing has got a fundamental advantage whatsoever. So this could literally go either way. It's extended to the downside at the moment, which means they're probably more likely to want to take profit on some of the short moves, which means we're going to push up a little bit. But quite possibly we could do that. The New Zealand dollar is going to move massively tomorrow based on the Aussie rate announcement. Assuming it does move, obviously. We've seen lots of cases where it hasn't. So at the moment, I'm just going to sort of stick in it. But that is an RSI extension to the downside, so technically it is a long at the moment. Euro, US dollar, massive extension to the upside. US dollar got killed on Friday. So this is the first time for months we're back above the 72 quarterly moving average. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice break. And potentially we could start seeing some weakness starting to roll in the US dollar at the moment. Although weakness in the US dollar is something that will be fits and starts anyway. So, but yeah, nice short extension. Long RSI extension. So that was the last trade we had on this one here, which worked very nicely. The last other one we had on the hourly was there very nicely. So this is a 4-hour RSI extension. On the hourly, we are also extended to the upside. So first entry taken short on Friday on that move. Need to put a TP in place on that one as well. Tricky one to TP on, isn't it? Enough, is it? Make any money? Let's go for that middle propulsion gap. So just go with a 50% retracement for the minute. So pushing up nicely again at the moment. So that's an hourly RSI extension and a 4-hourly. So very nicely extended there. Pound Swiss is extended on new lows on the DAX. There we go. So we're on our way down to first support. What am I talking about? Pound Swiss. That's just about extended on the 4-hour. I've got an hourly on that one as well. So that was extended on the hourly on Monday, on Friday rather. So first entry on that. It's 0.25%. A nice, easy. That's 0.25% within ADR. So that's a nice, easy, just quick scalp short. Might take that. So Pound Swiss, nicely extended on the hourly on Friday. 4-hour RSI extension as well. So this is a tricky one. We're back up into this balance. So this area balance that we sat in literally for 2 months was this? Where were we? July. We got there in July. We exited in October, July, August, September. 3 months. So it's 3 months of balance. We just sat there. Obviously, this all kicked off with what's going on at the moment over in the Middle East. And we broke out of this range, very nice short. And now we've pushed back up. So this is one of two things happening here. This is either a balance and a price discovery, which is failing, which will bring us back into balance. And then we will try to price discover the opposite direction. Or this is a successful price discovery and we are starting a rally short, in which case, obviously, we are testing the 24.72 area for a new leg down. So with this one, depending on what your thoughts are, you are looking potentially market structure being a new lower high, lower low, and breaking that level and going short. So This one could collapse. Swiss franc has no power with euro. Pound has no power at all. So there's no, again, bias advantage in either direction. Again, this is why you get areas of balance, because there's just no reason for any of these to go in any way at all. So you can either take this as a scalp. Nice, it's a really nice divergence as well. Look. Yeah. RSI divergence, bearish. So you can either take the stance of getting a quick in and out on it, or you can look for obviously a big strong push, in which case then we'd be looking for a 50% retracement or more on that move. And the more would be an A-shaped recovery and basically straight down for a new leg short. God, this DAX. I might... I'm thinking of dumping it this morning. It's just not going anywhere, is it? He says just as it pushes down. US indices are trying to push long, look. They're not going anywhere. So the fact that the DAX has actually managed to get this far is pretty impressive, isn't it? What to do with the DAX this morning? Give it the benefit of the doubt? I don't know. Thanks for subscribing, Juan. Welcome aboard. Didn't see you there subscribing. I've got my volume turned down. Right. So what I'm going to do. I'm getting out of half the position there. This is taking forever to get anywhere this morning. So I'm just going to take half off here. And then obviously I'll either break even on the second half or I won't. So that's half a percent basically, $500 short. It's not going anywhere, is it? Not even sure I'm going to get that, to be honest. Keep an eye on that. So yeah, pound Swiss, one short on it. So that one could be a very nice start of a big drop. But again, there's no news catalysts at all this week. That's last week. There's no news catalysts at all this week until GDP on Friday for the pound. So we've got Bailey speaking. We've got talking heads all week. But there's no catalysts really coming up for the pound until Friday. There's no catalyst really for the euro at all this week. I'm just closing this stack. Sorry, I'm just going to close this one out. So I'm out half the DAX, break even second half. The only reason I did that is because I just saw a load of volume come in on the US. Yeah, they're just buying up the US indices at the minute. Or trying to. I just keep seeing these out the corner of my eye. I just keep seeing these fast moves. In every fast move I'm seeing this morning on the US is that. Yeah. DAX is coming down. US indices are going up. So if they're going to do stock sector purchases where they're buying different sectors, and at the moment, all buying in the US at the moment. So there's 3 indices in the US. All of them are not dropping. The DAX is dropping. When we run out of sellers on the DAX, these guys that have actually started to make this move short on the DAX, as soon as those guys run out, it's going to flip. So I'm just going to get out of half of it. It may well, there might be enough sustained selling in this morning to drive it. And if there is, that's fantastic. But I just keep seeing these big orders popping in the NASDAQ, and they're all longs. So I just don't want this to, suddenly go into drawdown and me be sitting here an hour and a half into the market going, oh, I wish I'd have taken that $500. It's actually $300, but it's just moving fast enough. I can't be bothered. If you want to stay in it, stay in it. I'm not. I just can't be bothered this morning. It's annoying me. I'd rather be annoyed with $300 in the bank than annoyed with minus $500 in the bank going, I wish I'd have taken that $300. NASDAQ's really hammering now, look. Keep seeing these big pops. This is one of the reasons you need, it's helpful to have multiple monitors, because you catch things out the corner of your eye and you're like, what was that? And it gives you little warning signals as to what's potentially coming. If these US indices just keep buying and buying and buying like they are at the moment, the DAX is going to find it very difficult, because it's going to have a load of stock sector purchases going against it, and any individual stocks they're selling are just going to get run over. So, yeah. Anyway, pound Swiss, pound yen, we've already covered. Pound US dollar. Obviously, everything against the US dollar is getting a nice little run at the moment because of the US dollar weakness. That US dollar looks like it's getting run over again this morning. Another reason to be buying stocks, not selling them. If the US dollar's coming down, the stock market tends to go up. So another reason not to be going short at the moment today. At the moment, that is, obviously. So nice big push up. First entry taken on this one on Friday. So there's your 4-hour RSI extension. It was also extended on the hourly on Friday and embedded, and it still is. So first entry there. Short target, very nice and easy and clean, straight down into that propulsion gap, into those highs. So we'll need to scale into this one to get out of it, because the US dollar is still dropping this morning. But yeah, looking good for a short. So that's a first entry short on that one, pound US dollar. New Zealand dollar CAD, again, Canadian dollar weakened off the back of the US on Friday, as it always does. So that's a 4-hour RSI extension. It's only just extended, though. Nice divergence again. Yeah, bearish divergence. So just a bit of confluence to go with the trade. ADR today, you've got the monthly high. So not a great one. It's not very extended. It's only just about got extended. We got New Zealand dollar Swiss. Very nice move on New Zealand dollar Swiss. I got out of all the longs last week. Obviously, this is just so squeezy at the moment. This is a retracement potentially on this short. Yep. Very nicely extended on the 4-hour. There's no profit take move at all on this. Yeah, so they've just been piling out of the Swiss franc after getting into the Swiss franc on the Middle East problems. Now they're getting out of the Swiss franc because everything's just slowed down, and it just seems to be becoming just another conflict at the moment. So where it goes from here, we won't know until tomorrow morning, because the New Zealand dollar will move with the Australian dollar in the morning. So first short on this one, I really like this long. It's a 4-hour RSI extension, an hourly RSI extension. The reason I like it the most is because there's no profit take move. If they've done a move of that magnitude, PMIs have just come out in Italy, 47 on a 47.7. It's negative euro. When you get a big extension with no profit take move, you get a big pullback. Yeah, so that move there, the reason that pullback was so big and easy was because they didn't take any profit on the way down. So everybody had to take profit at the same time going back the other way. Same with this. No one's taken profit on this long yet. They will all start to take profit at the same time. We'll get a big downward movement. However, the news could change the fundamentals on this tomorrow morning. If the Australian dollar increases that interest rate, and then in the statement they say 4.35 is just the start, we're definitely going up, and we're going to go up to 4.6, etc. We're going to get a sustained rally on the Aussie and the New Zealand. So this one could be looking to push all the way back up and do a V-shaped recovery on that move, in which case, obviously, it's going to need to be scaled into. And then they'll be even more extended, ready to pull back on. So first entry on that one short. If I can get out on it, I will do, with a nice quick profit. Not quite sure where to get out of that. When you've got a sustained move like this, go for that propulsion gap, really, 175. When you've got a sustained move like this, there are so many resistances. Absolutely any one of those could act as a resistance. Yeah. Coming down, we could find buyers at any one of those levels. It's just a sustained rally. So, no idea. But I'll go for the propulsion move. So, see if we can test that area there. All over the place. Everything's all over the place on these this morning. So the NASDAQ's just pushed up into pre-market high, into the Globex high. They've just resold that Globex high. Same with the S&P. Same with the Dow. Just selling that high at the moment. Not going anywhere. New Zealand dollar Swiss. So that's that one. New Zealand dollar yen I've covered. New Zealand dollar US dollar, obviously that's pushing hard. First entry on that one. Again, propulsion target. Very nice, easy, quick move back down to fill that propulsion gap. That's my target. Could do a much bigger move, obviously back down into these areas down here. But that's extended on the 4 hour and extended on the hourly. And again, same sort of thing. Big, strong move, tiny flag break, big, strong move. We've got a nice double top monthly there. So that is the previous month's high and the month before high at ADR. If we can push up into ADR, take a second position, average in and get out down there as we do a 50% pullback on that move, then it will go wherever the hell it wants to. Don't care. I'm out. So yeah, nice move. Obviously this one again, all these Aussies and New Zealanders are at the mercy of the Australian interest rate and statement tomorrow morning. So when that comes out tomorrow and the RBA statement gives us some forward guidance, we'll know whether or not the Aussie dollar is going to rally or not. If it rallies, we need to scale in. If it doesn't, we'll be out. We'll wait and see. That's New Zealand US. So that's extended on the 4 hour, nicely above the 80 level again. Look at the 80s. Yeah, very rare. We do not get a big turning point at an 80 RSI extension. At least a pullback, if not a rally to the downside. New Zealand US, and we've got US dollar CAD. Again, that'll be extended to the opposite direction because obviously the US dollar collapsed. The other thing we got with this at the moment is the oil situation. Jesus, it's really sold off. The Dow's just sold off massively. Still obviously in a range, but just big movements, just loads of orders going today, but no real direction. So, sorry, US dollar CAD. So oil at the moment obviously is really struggling. We've had a whole week of basically oil fitting in balance. Nobody's interested in going any direction on oil either. More negative than positive with oil, and obviously these are both big oil countries. So a lot of exports of oil. Oil price coming down doesn't help either of these guys. So big extension here. Probably well, it's not the biggest extension, but one of the biggest extensions we've seen on the US dollar CAD for a while. So one of the biggest, strongest moves. So last time was back down here, look. Then we obviously rallied back up again. Then we had that push there. We had that push there. We had that push there. That push there. Yeah. What are we going to get? Probably that. So yeah, nice big extension. We'll be looking for just a retracement. So whenever you get obviously these big RSI extensions, you're either going to get one or two things. You're going to get basically an RSI extension is either one of two things. It's a profit take on a new leg up, or it's the start of a market structure shift. It's the start of a market structure shift. Then you're looking for a retracement before you go down. So you don't want to get too greedy. Look for a 38 to 50% retracement on that leg. Yeah. If it's a profit take on bullish market structure, obviously we're going to put in a new high. You never know which it's going to be. If you knew that, you would just do it, wouldn't you? So we don't know which it's going to be. So look for a 50% retracement as kind of the safer option, obviously. So I've got RSI, as you can see on the hourly, is embedded now. We've got this level coming up as support, which is the 3 week ago low. And then we've got this area down here as well. So 100 ADR today, that zone is these areas here. So if we do continue to push down, that will be 3 days solid with no profit take move whatsoever. So you know you're going to get a lovely big spike on this at some point coming soon. So DAX is pushing down into that area. We're 1R on the short now. So as you push down, basically, if we get down to here, be adding a third position onto this one and looking for pullback into that propulsion gap. At the moment, I'm targeting back up there, which is these lows. But
but I'm just going to adjust that into that propulsion gap, which is 150 ADR to the upside. So that's going to be roughly 0.5%. So that was initial target on the first entry. Didn't work out. We pushed down. So adjusting targets now to the second propulsion. If it pushes down to there, I'll add another position. Average will drop. I'll target that propulsion and so on and so forth. As long as it keeps pushing, we just keep adjusting our targets to get out with a profit. So that's where I am at the moment on that one. There we go. Still no ADRs today. That's it. That's all your RSI extensions. Pound odd on its way again. So should be able to bank that today. Got a few bits and pieces I can bank as partials today, but I'm going to give it a bit of time to play out this morning to see where we go. Oil's pushing up again. Should have taken that position. Never mind. Juan came here from MT5 market. I see auto trading is enabled on your chart. Which A is running on this? So on this is the stock index Hedge EA. SIH. This is the position trading with market reversal alert CA. It's paid for Friday. So we've run down into the 1R support. Whoops, potentially. Well, it's not even that. It's this propulsion gap here, which is not really even a propulsion gap because there was no accumulation before it. It's just an area on Friday where we kind of just ran out of steam. So if it's the thing that concerns me about this and why I've got out this morning is it's taking such a long time to get down to here. What's going to happen when they find some buyers at some support level? It's just going to pop, isn't it? Yeah. This is happening with no buyers in the market. What happens when we get some buyers? We're not even going to stand a chance. You're going to get a whacking great candle come in like that, and it's going to be like, no. If you weren't out of your shorts, you ain't getting out of them. So, give up the ghost this morning. Too difficult. Saying that, I haven't closed out half on this one, which I need to do. Bank a bit. Morning, Stanley. Franco in the trenches, getting ugly. Yeah. Stop. Not pretty this morning. It's never pretty, is it? Trading's not pretty. Right, that's all I've got for you this morning. Everything's covered. So just basically business as usual, really. Just watching everything. But as I say, this week is a really bad week for news. We've got nothing this week. We're going to need something like the construction PMIs for the pound to move the market because they haven't got any other reason to move the market this week until we get to Friday for the pound. So US dollar, we're relying on Powell this week. There's nothing until University of Michigan on Friday. So, you know, this week is it's all about the Aussie tomorrow, and that's it. So it's just going to be a very difficult week this week. It's going to be one of those weeks where you just have to sit and go, hopefully we get some movement. I get the feeling this week, though, what we're probably going to find is a load of sideways crap like we had last week. So there's no reason to go anywhere, is there? Stanley, it's somehow better. What is better? Has anybody got any other pairs they want to look at? Because I've got nothing else to cover this morning. I've covered everything I need to. No? No one got anything else I want to look at? Cool. It's going to be like that. I think we're going to have quite short sessions this week. And not a lot of profit. Euro pound. So we had a little bit of an extension on Friday on the euro pound. Euro dropped, or rather the pound rallied. Bit both, actually, isn't it? Yeah, so we just broken out of this range, basically. So this is kind of a 2-week range. We broke out on the unemployment figures, straight back into this range. So it could go anywhere. I'd look for a pullback on that up into that propulsion gap. So there's a nice target to the upside, although we've got downside targets we're trying to achieve at the moment. So I'd say if we can get them pushed down into that area, down into that previous monthly low and down into these lows here, you'll probably get a nice pullback on that. But until then, there's a good chance this might flush down and just fill this propulsion and then come and retest this one. So they bought that one back up. That's ADR today. If we can get down to there, you're going to get a nice extension there, which will give you a nice divergence, potentially. So, yeah, long at the minute. There you go. There's that pop I was talking about. At that propulsion. Just as soon as you run out of sellers and they go, as I did, screw this, it's not happening today. Everyone get out, and then suddenly a load more get out. Then they see them get out, they see their P&L drop, and all of a sudden you get a big spike. And if you haven't got out, it's too late. You've missed it, sort of thing. So just very spiky. The whole thing's very spiky today. So it's just not one of those days. This is one of the problems for trading, isn't it? You can't get paid every day. Some days you just have to sit there and go, it's just not going to happen today. So I'm going to leave that second half short on. I'm not going to get greedy with it. So there's no way I'm going for an ADR hit today. I'm just going to try and get out at yesterday's low with the second half of the trade. I think that would be a result. That's going to be somewhere in the region of $1,300 or something, which is for today will be a result, I think. And then we'll see what happens this afternoon. US dollar yen. We've already looked at US dollar yen. Don't know what's happening with that. I'm out. We've expanded, so we've got the volume came in last week. Certainly, the US had a try, and then obviously they didn't get anywhere. So you can't even pick a range on this thing because of the interventions. It's just it's just a mess. US dollar yen at the moment. I am steering clear of the yen. I'm not taking any yens. The EA is turned off. I need to just double check that I have turned that off as well on the US dollar yen. Just open the VPS to remind me. So yeah, I don't know where this is going. It's just a mess. But I'm out. If we push that level, I will look at getting in again. So if this week we get a push up into there, I would consider looking for a new short. But the thing with the US dollar yen and yen pairs in general is they cost an awful lot of money to hold them. So what I don't want to do is what I had here, it gets stuck in something for a month because it's just going to hemorrhage cash. I think with the yen now, you just need to be looking at get out fast all the time. It's really all you can do at the minute. Just to confirm, it was the Prime account from Robo Forex that was best for indices. I'm getting better execution on it. Slightly, yes. Yeah. Tighter spread. But even though this morning I had tight spreads on that this morning. Widespread. But yeah, normally it is. But this is the thing. It's all down to the market conditions, yeah. So with the Prime accounts, you are getting fed out to dark pools. Well, it depends if you're on the A book or the B book, but you are getting fed out to dark pools. So your orders and the quotes that you get in are much more realistic quotes. So you are, when the market has got no volume or no liquidity in it, you are going to get spread anyway. There's nothing you can do about the spread. You don't see it very often, but the Prime account, I do see much tighter sustained spreads, but I'm paying a commission. So it doesn't matter too much, I don't think, but I would go Prime. Are you still planning to do a reflection video on the massive squeeze lessons in drawdown control? I was going to, wasn't I, on the pound US, but I kind of put together a little, not so much a script, but a kind of a, it was more going to be, this is the worst squeeze I've ever been in type video. But when I actually looked at what I would say, DAX has just made new lows. Go figure. All over the place. Still going down though. So if you are holding it, as I am with my second half, we're still in. When I actually looked at what I was going to say about it, the only different thing that I was going to say about this one was it's longer. So if you look at the these videos on the website already, aggressive drawdown control, turning any losing trade profitable with aggressive drawdown control, and how to survive a squeeze. These things, these 3 videos, all pretty much say the same thing as I would have said. There's nothing I can really say new about it. It's just another one of those squeezy ones. So I decided not to bother, to be honest, because it's just the same thing. You know, I can't really say much more about it. It's one of those positions where it was just a nasty, grindy squeeze that you couldn't get out of, and I made a 9% loss on it. Actually, it was more than that. It's a 13% loss. I think it was. Can't quite remember. But look at it now. Yeah, we're here. I got out there with a break even. That's a nice profit. But look, you had to wait another bloody 2 weeks. You know, it's just a horrible, horrible trade. But yeah, so I haven't. Do you mean I can't get 500 pips a day? Unfortunately, Franco, yes. You can get 500 pips a day if you want. Go and trade the US dollar ZAR. You'll do 500 pips in a couple of minutes. Pound US dollar, we've already looked at that. So that's a 4-hour RSI extension. So first short on that taken on Friday on the unemployment figures. We'll be getting into a second on that one today. If we continue to push. Where are we? 48. So I need 50, 75. So next reversal on the 5-minute, I'll be in short. So I'll get in second short will be there. God, that's tight. Excuse me. I'd like this to push up a little bit more, actually, so that the reversal happens up there, because that pretty much guarantees me a second entry. So, I need 3/4 of an ADR. ADR on this is 96. That's going to be really tight. $72 I need. That's 76. So as long as the reversal alert happens within that propulsion gap, I'll be in. If we get a whacking great down candle that closes there, I won't get it triggered. So it'd be nice if it pushes up a little bit more, because then it gives me a lot more space to get into the second position, or rather the EA. But yeah, so short on that, looking for second entry, propulsion gap target. And again, you know, that's first entry on this one. When the second entry goes in, average is going to move up to there. So I can move my target from there to there and still make that much profit. But target the top of the propulsion move in case they rebuy that that sell. Oh, this is ugly as you like today. Just watching these US indices, look. In Globex, they're just awful today. It's all just awful today, isn't it? Scalping the 1 minute chart to try and pass this dumb challenge. Dumbest thing I've ever done. Yes, 1 minute charts are dumb. Don't do it. Too much chop. Look at the signals right today. This is a really good example today. Look how difficult this is to trade on the 5 minute chart. What do you think this looks like on a 1 minute chart? Yeah. That's horrible. Very difficult to pick a signal. So you go short and then it pushes up like that and you go, oh, that doesn't look good. And then it goes down and then it pushes up again and you go down and you go, oh, I'll take my profit there. So you've made that much after 20 minutes because it was just looking really, really bad. Then you get a push up and it's made a higher high and a higher low and you're thinking, oh, this is looking bullish now. Then it pushes down and it goes with a lower high and a lower low and you go, oh, bears back in control. Then it pushes down, makes a new low, but puts a bull candle in. So you're like, oh no, it looks like the bulls are there. Then we have a bullish candle and you're like, no, don't like the look of this. Look at the size of that wick. That's really bearish. You confuse the crap out yourself on the 5 minute chart. Look at the one. What do you do with that? Long, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, short. Don't do it. It'll kill you. Big days, you'll make a fortune. The rest of them, you'll just come out of it with about 1,000 cuts and about a 20% loss. It's awful. I don't know anybody that makes money on the 1 minute chart. Not one. Apart from people that trade futures. That's slightly different because you're doing different things with different contracts, different strategies. DAX is TP. Well, say TP. DAX is at that level I identified that potentially we might turn at hours ago. So watch this level. This might be it today. Yeah, I don't know anybody that makes money on the 1 minute charts. 5 minute chart is hard, very hard. You need a lot of experience and a lot of you need to identify, as I have today. Today's not a day to trade. The 5 minute chart, you can identify today is not a day to trade. It's going to be very difficult to really extract any decent cash today. But 15-minute time frame. If you look at this on the 15-minute, which is kind of you getting into more sensible price action clues now. Yeah. Look at it on the 15-minute chart today after the open, and you're short. You haven't had anything that's told you to do anything, but I'm in my short, that's it. Now I'm potentially looking at an area that I might bounce at, and then I'm going to look at that area for bounces, and then I'm going to look at that area for bounces. Yeah. The difference between the 1 minute chart and the 15-minute chart is like total clarity, utter confusion. You are trading algorithmic bot orders, and the bots have no direction. The bots are basically get in, take that pip, get out. Yeah. All you're doing is you're trading, trying to find some kind of sensible price action in total chaos, which is designed to grab one tick as much as possible. Just awful. But people still think they can do it. For passing proper valuations, the 1 minute chart is something you can pass. If you get a good couple of lucky runs on the 1 minute chart, you'll pass very, very quickly and easily. But you won't. But you will never sustain it. And the trouble is, once you get that, oh, I passed that in 25 minutes, and then stage 2, I did that in an hour. Oh, this is easy. As soon as you get the funded account, it's blown because you're never going to get that lucky run again. You might do. You might get a lucky run. And if you get funded and get paid on a lucky run on the 1 minute chart, that's it. You'll never go back. That's the end of your career. You're dead. You've convinced yourself you can buy a Lamborghini in an hour. Should have turned to Pornhub on tonight. Got killed. Too much info, Franco. Mark. Okay, thanks. How many positions are you in? Feels like I'm in almost everything. Yeah, quite a lot. I mean, that many. I've done 2.5% of pure luck. Yeah, do it. Take it though. Now turn onto a proper time frame. 15. Everybody that makes money in this market, they are all, any market, they are all looking here and above. Everybody is on the hourlies and above. Everything below it, you are just trading nonsense. You're trading even the 15-minute to a certain extent, which is probably the clearest sub-hour chart. It is just, you know, this here. There's no speculative moves today. There are no speculative buyers in this market today. We know that because we haven't gone anywhere. If there was a speculative move underway, we would have moved. We haven't moved. So even these 3 candles here, which are telling you to do nothing but go short, are just algorithmic. There's no one here saying sell the market, guys. It's just bots. High frequency trading in the banks. So, you know, even this isn't giving you any indications. Are we going long or short today? Don't know. The hourly chart hasn't even given me an indication either. So what chance do you stand on the 1 hour, on the 1 minute? Franco, you're going to go and try and cry in your truck? Yeah, I would. Well, I wouldn't. Try not to cry. It's only one day. Tomorrow's another day. Look at my Friday. I had red in my leisure. It's now green again. Right. Just check the EA. Sorry, I just want to check the US dollar yen. Sure, I moved that. Maybe not. Yeah, turned off. So I'm flat. All yen pairs. I've got the EA turned off on all yen pairs. So I'm not going to trade any yen at the minute. If you are going to trade it and you want to trade using the market reverse alerts EA, all I would do is basically in the EA, just set yourself to short only. Yeah. So just basically instead of both signals, just short signals. I just wouldn't bother longing anything against the yen at the moment because I still think there's one of 2 things that's going to happen with the yen related to the US dollar yen. Either the US dollar yen is going to come down and we're fine, in which case you want to be shorting against the yen, or the US dollar yen is going to push, in which case the Japanese are going to force the yen into a strong position, in which case it's coming down. So either way, I see absolutely no reason to be buying the yen unless you're intraday trading pullbacks, which is fine. But other than that, just be very careful because when that intervention comes, we do get that 800% move. If it comes and you are long, you're not getting out. You're going to have to take all of that loss. And it wouldn't be pretty. Cry, Franco, yeah. Everybody give Franco a hug. What time frame were you trading, Franco? 1 minute? 5 minute? Get him in the next round, exactly. Think of it like a boxing match. It's 5 rounds every week. You've lost round 1. Got another 4 rounds to go. Okay, I just lost my 2.5%, Tom. Stop it. Right. I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20 this afternoon. Okay, we are now back on to 2:20, not 1:20, because the US have changed their clocks. But you know, it sounds silly, doesn't it? But if the UK and the Europeans got together with the Americans and said, why don't we all change it on the same weekend? Wouldn't that make the financial markets easier? Or better still, why are we still changing them? Who cares? Let's not bother anymore. Wouldn't that make the financial markets easier? But no, we have these 2 periods every year where we have a week of confusion and everybody gets confused. So before this afternoon, go into your EAs, change your times. For me, I have to put 1 hour onto everything. Yeah, all these 15s become 16s, etc., etc. Yeah, change them all. Make sure you do. So 2:20 this afternoon, we are back. And then, yeah, we'll see how we get on this afternoon. Hopefully we just get some movement this afternoon. But the DAX at the moment is still paying out. So we'll We'll see. But I'm not going to push it any further than these lows. So yesterday's low for me is kind of all I'm interested in today. If it collapses and it goes 200 ADR, so be it. But I shall be happy to get to our yesterday's low out of it. That's really all I'm after today. Not enough movement. All right, so I'll be back this afternoon. Anything else you need, let me know. Sorry, what was that saying? XR update.news. Early on, I was pointed to US dollar SEC. No one on YouTube seems to trade it. Is there a reason? Yeah, it's an exotic. Commissions, spreads, swaps will be horrific. There's no volume. Yeah. Don't trade it. It's exotic. Think about this, right? Nobody on YouTube seems to trade it. Why? Just ask yourself that question. If no one's doing it, if there was there's thousands of YouTube channels, there's millions of traders out there, there's financial institutions giving education, etc. If nobody is teaching on that thing, it's probably not a good thing to trade, is it? This is why I get annoyed with everybody that keeps going, does your product work on deriv.com? Yes, it does. You are being scammed. They are a scam broker, deriv.com. They trade synthetic indices. They manufacture them. They manipulate them. When you go long, they go, let's take it short and get that bloke stopped out, and then we'll go long again. Yeah. If there are people out there making money and not trading them, don't trade them. That's what I will say. Sorry, deriv.com. I love you really, but no. I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20. Anything else you need, I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, good luck with the DAX. If we can break that low, we've got half a chance of getting down to the yesterday's low. So other than that, have a good morning. I will see you guys this afternoon.